a lot of people want to know where he comes from. And I don't mean Americans want to know where he comes from. I mean Slovenes want to know where you're from, stari.
Stari. Taj dobra.
Where your people from.
Where my people from? My people from here. No, so I was born and raised in kind of more towards Gorinska region. I guess you could say Škofja Loka and somewhere further away. I grew up kind of like in a farm environment, a farm life. Like obviously my parents moved to the city quite early, and so I... Midvode, yeah. So I kind of grew up in this suburban area. I have lived in Midvode all my childhood and adult life, and how's it called? Like adolescent life, and then as soon as I started becoming more independent, I've lived in the vicinity, like the ring of the city center since.
I come from California, as most of you already know. I was born and raised in Northern California in a little town in between Sacramento and Tahoe. And then I moved down to Southern California. A lot of my family is down there as well. When we first started talking / when we got together, I was living down there in Anaheim, which is basically right next to Disneyland.
Yeah.
That's where I come from.
That's where I met her. How did you meet? Oh, we have time right now? Ugh.
We're going to do a full, mini-series on our story.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, we're going to do that because it's too great and too detailed to try to summarize. Right. So we'll just give you the brief version, which is we met in California. He came to America for the first time to it was your first visit to America, right? Like a tourist visit. You were also doing some photography.
Yes.
And he went to a dance event, and it was a swing dance event in Sacramento that I happened to go to every week with my sister, and that's where we met for the first time.
True.
And you'll have to wait for the rest of the story to come.
Yeah. Why are you living in Slovenia? It's a good question.
Yes.
Right now we are regretting it because it's cold and it's like you struggle with all your being to keep your kids healthy and yourself sane because your kids are not healthy and stuff.
Whenever I meet a Slovene and they ask me, where are you from? And I say, I'm from California. They all say, why are you here?
And I didn't even notice this initially so much. I was so used to winters and summers and winters and summers, but now spending more of our Decembers in the US.
Ruined you.
It kind of ruined me, yeah. Like walking barefoot. Once you spend a couple of weeks barefoot in December, that changes you. Like it just, like not the first year. Not. Why are we living in Slovenia? Partially because we have our home base here. So I have my home base here in terms of business. And then also... we have nothing tying us down in the US as of now. And also, we really also like the society in Slovenia at this point. I'm generalizing a little bit, but we like it a little bit more than the US, just in terms of being safe, I guess.
Yeah.
Slovenia is very safe.
So when we got married, we decided I had always wanted to live in Europe, travel Europe. That was a massive dream of mine. And so when we got married, it wasn't we're going to live here forever, we're going to live there forever. It was, we'll live in Slovenia for the first year, and then decide after that what to do. And a year turned into 2, which turned into 6. And it's now that we have kids here and stuff, like he said, I really love Slovenia for kids. I think it's safe, it's beautiful, it's a great place to grow up, the schools really nice, the social system in terms of the kindergarten and maternity and all those things are really great. And for those reasons, Shark Tank. So I'm looking at America, and for those reasons, I'm out.
Yeah, and just to kind of elaborate for all the Slovenes because for me this was so foreign. I remember the first time we took Olivia to playground, and Olivia was just kind of like crawling around, playing around and stuff. And she was small. She would never be able to go far away very quickly. But for some reason, I remember you couldn't see her, you looked around, you got all, scared, oh my goodness. American response, what happens when you can't see your child for 2 seconds. And I was totally chill, just like, what's the problem? Why are you even thinking about anything? And then being in the US more and being more observant, it is true, man. Like, people, like, there's predators in the US. It's really bizarre.
It depends where you're from. Like, I'll say, like, in Southern California and a lot of the places that I lived, like, down there, I think California in general is just very populated, similar to, like, New York. Those more densely populated areas where there's more crime and just, like, it's not safe in general. There are other states within areas within the U.S. that are way safe, probably a lot like here.
Okay.
I don't want to live there.
That's the point, yeah.
And that's the thing, but like in places like California, in Southern California, these are places where it's like, you do not let your child out of your sight. Ever. Even though I've been here so long, I still have that, instinct in a way. The same as like when I'm outside walking by myself, I still have this instinct, like I need to be on guard that I don't get jumped, or if I see a man or men and it's me by myself and I look around and I don't see anyone else, I don't have to be totally I don't have to be really concerned when I'm here, but I still have that reaction. It doesn't make California sound very nice.
No, like it's a slight down, like not downside. It's something to consider.
It's just an adjustment to life. You're just here. You can really be free, and it's safe and like that is a huge benefit.
Right. Yeah. Not to go too much in. It's not that bad. It's just like...
No, it's just something you're always aware of.
There's shady people around. Like, you walk around in California, you walk for, 5 minutes, you're going to see a couple of shady people.
Yes.
And in Slovenia, it doesn't happen. Like, just general rule. Like, not all of them are predators, whatever, but anyways. Why are you not living in California? Also a great question. We have a mid to long-term plan of actually being able to, where we can live here and there. And for right now, for business purposes, also financial purposes, and also in terms of our just overall plan for the immediate life for our kids, we have elected not to live in California at this point.
Yeah.
You have anything to add to this?
I always tell people the dream is to have a home in both places.
Right.
And we stay in California for most of the year, and then we come back to Slovenia for the summers.
What do you think of America in general right now? One word that comes to mind is divided. For sure. Yeah. Like, I don't ever remember America being this divided. It makes me sad.
It is very sad.
It should be one nation, but it doesn't seem like. So, it's a loaded question. Difficult to answer.
Yeah, it's extreme. It feels very political right now. It's so heavy and inundated in everybody's conversation that it makes it really unpleasant.
So...
That's right now, how America is right now.
Right.
America...
It's difficult for America. Yeah. Why did you want to marry an American? Oh, that's a great question. I think... I don't know. It's hard to say where it comes from.
My really. Californian accent.
Right. No, and this might sound really sad, and some Slovenians might really hate when I say this, but I always remember watching old movies. I don't know. I will say very innocent youth. I remember watching the movies, and I remember listening to the American English, and it sounded so special. It sounded like the most divine
Before
thing.
You could understand it?
I see, that's not... that I don't know. Maybe I understood, maybe I didn't, but just the way it sounded. And then I made pact with myself that 3 things are going to happen, which others are not that important, but one of them was to marry an American, and kind of everybody laughed. But I was really young. Or I'm going to live in America and marry an American, that was. And
how old were you?
Again, it had to be innocent youth. And I'm not going to say specific number because I don't remember the age. Under 6, for sure. For sure. Because I remember not going to school yet. That's how I know. Because with 7 I went to school, and this was before. This was just when I learned to add 2-digit numbers together. Like, in my head. I remember that coincided, and I could ask my parents when I learned to do that. Must have been 5 or 6. 4 or 5, 6. Anyways, that age.
Impressive.
Yeah, so that's when I said that, and it sounded funny even to me. But always in my life, kind of the decisions I've made later on, the risks, I guess you could say pursuits, were all kind of geared in that direction. What?
It's so cute. Like, I just imagine little baby Luka.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna marry you.
I wish I had. You should find a kid picture of me and be like, this was him, by the way.
You're such a cute kid, though.
I don't know.
Oh, so cute.
So, anyways, and I had this ideal of American, which, as you're gonna hear in the story when we share our story, got shattered in 2008, destroyed. America the Great, you know what I mean? So yeah, but ultimately, I always was a sucker for blondes, always. And I think subconsciously, because I've always, I come from an entrepreneurial family, and I think I was really missing that entrepreneurial spirit in Slovene women, I guess. Like that, you create your opportunities. Like some of the things are given naturally, but ultimately it's up to you and the opportunities you help foster. Maybe not create, but foster and nourish in the times when they're very innocent and very sensitive to everything and failing, is having that energy to sustain them when necessary. And I think in America, like the land of business and stuff, I think I saw that deep down. What do you do? I sit a lot and have a lot of meetings right now. I have one business that is a representative for sound and vibration company. So we represent, we sell, and we engineer solutions. And then the second business is a spin-off, you could say, that develops specifically solutions targeted more into app space, so programming and stuff, but also specialized solutions. I'm being very vague because it's not that important, but essentially, and also we are pursuing other cooperations with some big brands in the field, but it's more like we're pursuing more. We're trying to see where the future of sound and vibration is going to go, and we want to be in that space.
Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you liked me and Luka, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.